Hi, everybody. Good morning. And today is the day after the Super Bowl, February 10th, 2025. And this morning we're going to talk about, uh, as we get involved and wake up to we love art. Some people love sports the way we love art. Uh, I don't know if love is the right word, but maybe it is because if some people can love sports the way they do, then I guess I could say I love art the way I do. I don't know. It seems like that's okay, you know. But what I'm here to talk about is art history, but not really. Art history is just the past, and art history really what it is. We're talking about human history and how art is a reflection of what's going on in humanity, in society, in human society. So in the past, we had the development of the camera. And after the camera came in, which was about 1827, the first, there was like a 1826, 1827 in France. It was like, it's called the rooftops of Paris, something like that, or somewhere, it may not be Paris, a city in France, though. I remember that it was France. And you could just barely make out the scene. And then little by little, you had daguerreotypes and I believe it was called silver plate. Yeah, silver plate. I'm not an expert on photography, but I'm giving you a little kind of preparation or a little framing what I'm going to talk about with regards to art history, which is that, and I'm thinking about Gauguin this morning for some reason. But right now, modern day, we have. You take the example of Kehinde Wiley, who is an extremely adept portrait artist, but who expands and delves further within pattern and symbolism and realism, and symbolism as it relates to a political, mental, emotional, spiritual, socioeconomic, spiritual statement. Beyond just the incredible ability that he has to create portraits, likenesses of people. Really, really great artist in his way. And then you have Jean-Michel Basquiat, who he's no longer with us, great in his way, an expressionist, completely unrealistic. So you have completely expressionist, non-representational is the word we use in art to refer to Jean-Michel Basquiat. Also, and Kehinde Wiley is completely figurative, but and surrealism is like, it's like a category that I don't know if it applies at this point, especially to Kehinde Wiley. But if you had to apply something in the past, it might be Salvador Dali. Who was also extremely adept as a figurative artist, but went further into exploration of patterns and symbolism, but much more into symbolism, whereas Kehinde Wiley, I don't know, you can't compare people, and you can't label people, and it's like really hard to talk about art. That's why we do art instead of talking about it. The last thing I'll say is that I started this video thinking about Gauguin, and I'm not even it's not about art history as much as it is about what I'm trying to create here. But Gauguin was an interesting artist to think about. A lot of people think about his friend, who was Vincent van Gogh. Van Gogh is actually the pronunciation, I believe. But they're both interesting, and people think that Gauguin had a little nicer time of it in his life. He probably did when you compare it to Vincent van Gogh. And then you have the advent of Picasso, who all these people, and it started with Manet, M-A-N-E-T, not Monet, but also Monet came a little later. But Manet was the first to, and it was after the camera, and he had, for instance, a painting called Le Petit Déjeuner sous l'herbe, the little luncheon on the grass. And it caused a furor in France, a furor, meaning it caused an upset with the art critics, because back then, art was a big deal. It was really important. If you were an artist and you were successful, you were an accepted part of society as a kind of like a journalist, because there was no camera previous to this time period. Okay, so around mid 19th century, you had plenty of photographs coming out, flooding society with the way things really looked, as opposed to an interpretation. So Manet began he was like a precursor to Impressionism. And then after that, you had Monet and Pissarro, and then you had Impressionism. Post-Impressionism was Van Gogh, and who died at age 37, and it was mysterious. I don't want to go into specifics about that, but it wasn't nice. It's never nice to die young, I'm sure, and he probably had a lot more to say. His mother wanted to throw his paintings out, and somebody stopped her. I think it may have been Dr. Gaget, who was a psychologist, if you could call it that. At the time, he was a doctor of the mind, they used to call it, I think, something like that. It was just a brand new science, at least in an official recognized capacity for the state. And in France, where Van Gogh, he died in France, they don't quite know if he shot himself or if somebody in the town shot him. There's speculation as to how he died. It wasn't nice. 37 years old, he did a lot of paintings. The paintings were preserved. His wife worked after his death, not his wife, Theo's wife. Van Gogh was never married. He was a very lonely man, but his brother did have a wife. His brother died a year after, and was younger than Vincent. Died a year after Vincent was shot, or shot himself. We don't know which. And Theo's widow was very instrumental for the next few decades in seeing to it that Vincent's work was preserved and exhibited and promoted in an effort partly for that reason, and also to help make people more aware of the plight of the artist in the political state or the human society, which that happened. She was very successful in making his paintings speak on behalf of the plight of the artist. This is what we have so far, and I'm gonna check and see who won the Super Bowl. I know I should know. This is really, in admitting that, I'm like saying, oh man, what kind of guy am I? I'm more of a guy that likes, respects. I mean, I watched part of it, and I saw that the last I saw before my landlord and teacher, who wishes to remain anonymous, told me that Kansas City, apparently they were making some kind of comeback. It was after I already left. I had watched it all the way to the point, I think, the beginning of the third quarter, I think, is where I left. So I'm going to go check on that, and I'll get back to you, and we'll analyze how that affects us, if it affects us at all. It does, but some more than others. Everybody have a great Monday, February 10th, 2025. Have a great day.